Okay, so just a brief explanation of my capstone project. What I created is a separate website for the UNO Wind Ensemble librarians to keep track of all of their records. Now, it's just a basic CRUD system: create, rectify, update, delete. And there's a front end and a back end. Now, what you see here is the front end, which has the basic elements: an ID element, title, composer's last name, composer's first name, arranger's last name and first name if there is one. Like if you notice this one, there isn't one, so it's marked not available. A year of a publisher, the actual publisher, if there were any performances by UNO, and then the score status. So as you can see, it's just a fairly basic table that I created. It's a fairly large one. There's altogether 1,648 rows. Now I also enabled you can order the different table based off of, right now it's going off of the ID number. You can have it ordered by the title by just clicking on the link, the composer's last name, which is how it's lined up in similar ways to the ID, the arranger's last name, arranger's first name, also by the year, the publisher, performances by UNO, and the score status. I'll go back to ID. So this is the front end. This is what any general user who's going to encounter the iframe that this will be on. This website will be in an iframe on the UNO Music website. Now let's go to the back end. The back end. Now the backend is password protected, and I already logged in, so that's why it went immediately right to there. But there is a user ID and a password for the librarians to get into, so that they can make edits, and it prevents other people from getting in and, you know, possibly destroying the database or anything like that. And what I have is it's the same table. However, they can make edits. They can also delete. So let's say I want to change this one, the work song march, because I accidentally put Nat Adderley instead of, say, Nate Adderley. I can go to edit. It'll bring up this edit page, which takes all of the values from that table and displays them in an editable text box. So I could put Nate, submit the changes. It says entry is submitted. Go back to home. And look, see, now it's Nate Adderley. Now, I might change that back because that's not correct. It actually is Nat Adderley. Yeah, see, and it works no problem. Now, what I can also do, a little function that I personally added, that I came up with that I really like, is say the librarians have, you know, many pieces that were checked out at the same time and then checked in at the same time. Just for example, we'll do these first 5. So these first 5 IDs are checked in right now, but I need to check them out. What I can do is check mark these first 5, hit this submit button up at the top, and what it does is it applies a value to those first 5, whatever values that I check off, and pulls them up in here so that I can change the score status, because it's the only thing with these librarians. I got to kind of personalize their website for them, but the only thing that they wish to be able to make changes to on multiple rows at the same time is the score status. So I just left the score status to where they could check from checked in to checked out, missing score, missing parts. So for this example, we'll say they checked out all 5 of those. You can submit that. Changes have been made. Return to the library. And as you can see, these first 5 rows were all marked as checked out. Originally, I wanted to make the same version, but to delete them. But then I was told that they would rather not do that because they very rarely delete entries from the actual library, so they'd rather just do that one at a time. However, here I do have this delete form, so if they wish to delete an entry, see, it pulls up what they wish to delete. Are you sure you want to? You can do yes or no. I'm going to select no because I don't want to delete this. And it says my entry has not been deleted and is still in the database. I return, and if I were to hit yes, it says your entry is deleted. I'll show you a little bit more of that a little bit later. So I also have a few extra kind of tidbits about this. One really nice function that I had is a lot of the times when they order some new pieces, what happens is they get an Excel sheet that gets sent that has basically this information, and they wanted to be able to add from that. So what I did was I made a CSV Excel document called SWELib that's within the folder of the whole website. And what they can do, I'll just double click on it right here, is that it brings up, oh, yep, I get those prompts every single time. But what I get to do is I can put in all the information on here. Just for example, this is going to be a test one. I'll do 1650. This is a test by, I'll just put a year, 1999. Pat Peters. And it's missing. I'm missing. So all I have to do is input all the information like that, and they could do as many as, I think when I was first testing this, I think the most I had was about 400 rows. So they could do about 400 rows at a time before it starts to bog down the server and starts to time out because it takes too long. But I put all that in. It's going to prompt me to save it. I'll save it. Now the really important thing is I have to save it as a CSV comma delimited Excel file. And it'll prompt me saying, are you sure you want to do this? Because CSV isn't exactly a format that everyone uses nowadays. So I say yes. Exit out of that. Then all I have to do, exit out of that, is down here at the very bottom of the editable version. It has this link that's add from Excel sheet. I could click that. Now what happens is whenever it makes this entry, it always makes two entries. It makes first the whatever entry that I need to make, and then it makes a 0 category, which was a bug. I wasn't completely able to find out why that happens, but that happens every time. So this error message isn't anything new. That happens every single time. But I go back to capstone.php, and if you look, gotta get my mouse back here. Here we go. Scroll all the way down to the bottom, and it took what I put there. It parsed through the CSV document based off of the commas, extracted it, and made it into a database entry and submitted it in right here. Now I can show you how I delete things because I don't want this in here. So I'll go to delete, brings everything up. I go to yes, submit. My entry has been successfully deleted. I return, and there you go. And that's a very, basic understanding of how my capstone project works. I think this has been great. We've received, several requests that we get some sort of online database of our library because we have lots of high school directors from around the area who are maybe playing a piece and they're missing a part or two, and so they want to find out if we have the same piece, if we can possibly send them a part. Now they can look on here, and also it's great for the librarians to keep track of what's going on. But that is, for the most part, everything about my capstone project. This is Patrick Peters, and thank you very much.